Hi there. In this slide, we're going to look at an actual case study where a plumbing supply distributor has line item profit analytics capabilities and tools. They found a big losing customer, which was a shock because he's a good, solid, wonderful, loyal customer. And if you look at the straightforward math of the situation, you can see here's a customer who bought last year $633,000 worth of sales, $127,000 in margin, which is a lot of margin dollars for somebody who thinks all their costs are fixed. Now, the margin percent is looking a little bit weak, but this is a blended average. I don't know that there aren't some directs, or indirects on water heaters or some big pipe deals that go in there. But certainly the activity costs were so high that at the end of the year, the company was actually losing, the distributor was losing 16,000 and change, or had a negative 13% return on sales to the customer. Now, during the year, the customer bought an array of 1,900 different SKUs. If you went and looked at the SKU lens of the 4-view analysis and went to the bottom of the SKU ranking report, the bottom 27 items were losing as little as $500 and up to over $1,000 in loss per item. But what was also interesting was how popular these items were. This plumbing contractor had bought all these items anywhere from a low of 127 times for the year to a high of 454. He's not buying just one item, random, one off. So of the 1,900 items, 1,500 of these things, he bought them once. But there might be 200 items he's buying like crazy to profit, but he's buying another 200 items we're losing our tail feathers on. So just looking at the absolute biggest losers, 27 of them, the average picks for each one of those 27 losers is about 251. Divide that by 12. That's over 20 times a month. They're buying an item on some sort of big losing basis, at least for the distributor so far. Now, they can then, go look at the invoices and say, all right, how many of these were will calls? In other words, the customer. So you look at the bottom of the report on invoice ranking and say, okay, here are invoices that had $1, $2, $3, $4 of stuff on it, one line item. And when that tech van person is there buying it, they sure are not out doing a job. So if their opportunity cost to be at the counter is billing out at 2.5, 3 times what the contractor's paying these tech van people on a payroll basis, that's a very expensive shopping trip, isn't it? And so we could ask the question, how do we convert more of the shopping time into be on the job, doing the job, and billing a customer for what they want done sooner? We can also look at the invoice ranking and sort of between the lines we can sort of start to say which ones were sort of rush orders. In other words, why would one of his tech van guys come in to the counter and buy just this one item? Well, maybe they were out on a job and for lack of a pinch of something they had to hop in their van, drive out back to our counter, get this, then go back to do the job. So what's the cost of that oversight and that downtime, and then the customer satisfaction because we didn't get the job done? And because the job took longer than we planned, the guys took to the next job later than we promised, so now we got 2 customers who are upset. And the fourth view is what do we know personally on our brain trust here about this particular customer? Well, we know that the owner does not want any inventory on the vans. So he has got a sort of a philosophical absolute, the world is black and white, 100%, we will not have inventory on the van policy. So what does that mean as far as how his van techs buy stuff, and then if for lack of a pinch of this or whatever, what's it create in these kinds of rush orders and go out and get the oversight kind of item? So that's the initial analysis they did. They then said, all right, let's, light bulbs are going on here. What are the light bulbs going on and what are we going to pitch to the contractor? So in the next slide, we'll look at light bulb solutions for this particular contractor. Thank you.